The public appears to have an overwhelmingly negative view of you personally.
Welcome back to Moose on the Loose. My name's David. This is Boo. Today we've got Justin Trudeau getting obliterated by a reporter. I've never heard a reporter be so stark and to the point. This is unreal. Also, David Eby gets just torched by a reporter, and Pierre Poilievre blasts both Eby and Trudeau. So this is a fun episode. Let's jump into this. This video here comes from the EV battery plant accelerator whatever fund in Port Colborne, Ontario, strengthening our EV supply chain. So basically, they got a couple guys here from Japan. They got champagne, which is just off the screen here. The reporter just asked Trudeau straight up, like, why is he such a failure? And why doesn't he just step down?
And I can tell you, when you have a plant like that in Port Colborne or even in the region, you're changing the landscape for generations to come.
Laura Stone, Globe and Mail. Prime Minister, I want to ask you about leadership. Polls have put you 20 points behind the Conservatives, and it doesn't seem to be getting better despite your recent communications push from your budget. The public appears to have an overwhelmingly negative view of you personally, and you seem to have lost control of the conversation on some of the key issues that Canadians care about. I think the public might be looking at you and your position right now and thinking, for the good of the Liberal Party, why is he staying on?
Thank you for your concern, Laura. But as you see, we're here investing in good jobs for today and for generations to come. The world is in a challenging place, absolutely. But that's why for 8 years this government has been putting forward investments and a frame that both fights climate change and creates good jobs and economic growth. I know there are lots of folks in Ottawa thinking about process. I'm focused on results for Canadians. I'm focused on delivering the kinds of things that are going to set Canada and Canadians up for success over the coming decades. Because that's the moment.
Did this guy actually say that? He's setting us up for success over decades? He's delivering results? This guy's delivered the worst results in Canadian history.
A different government years ago wouldn't have made the choice to build an EV ecosystem here in Canada.
Which government was that?
Would have doubled down on the oil and gas industry.
Which one was that?
And stayed away from anything that threatened the oil and gas industry. This is about building a plan for the future of this country. That's what we're focused on, and that's what I will continue to be focused on, because building a better future for Canadians, bringing in fairness for every generation, that's what I am 100% focused on right now. Yes.
It's funny, the kid screaming in the background there. This is just more Trudeau garbage. He's just a liar. He's using his slogans. Fairness for every generation. There's no fairness in Canada. That's why Canadians are leaving. Corporations are leaving, businesses are leaving, people are moving their money out of this country. Hats off to the reporter, though, for just calling it straight on him. He did not like that. If you look at his body language, too.
And you seem to have lost control of the conversation on some of the key issues that Canadians...
So that smile, that's a very uncomfortable smile. He knows, okay, I'm going to have to get a little bit firm with this one.
Canadians care about. I think the public might be looking at you...
It's interesting if you watch his eyebrows. I think when he's very about to strike back, his eyebrow, it does this. It twitches upwards like this. It's hard to see. I wish these were in 4K because then I could really zoom in on this stuff.
And thinking, for the good of the Liberal Party, why is he staying on?
Thank you for your...
And this too, you see, off to one side. It's when you have these asymmetrical facial features, whether you're smiling or sad or whatever, but that's not the kind of mouth movement of someone who's confident or strong or secure or feeling good. Not to mention just, you can see he's got furrowed brow and just this his scolding kind of dad face.
Your concern, Laura. But as you...
He's trying to play it off with it as a joke. This is absolutely humiliating. and embarrassing. Look at this face here of Doug Ford. So at this press conference here, they try to ask Trudeau how many Canadians are going to get jobs in this factory. He obviously doesn't answer the question. So what they do is they ask the Japanese guy instead. And well,
I have a question for Mr. Trudeau, if I could ask you a question. Can you tell us anything more about this decision? Why you decided on Port Colborne? What was it that attracted you here? And if you can say anything about the impact that you expect it to have on this area, the number of jobs, whether people from the area will get those jobs, that kind of thing?
so it's pretty painful back and forth. I'll sum it up for you guys here in a second, but
Thank you very much for your question. So, our first choice was in Europe. And next, we decided to investigate in the opportunity in the United States. So frankly speaking, Canada was our third country to investigate the opportunities for investment.
しかしながら調査を
But as we progress in our investigation, little by little, we have learned that there is a huge enthusiasm coming from the federal government, provincial government, and the local municipal government. And also, we have found that there are plenty of great quality human resources available here.
so spoiler alert, they don't give any numbers, but it was a good try to go around Trudeau and all these thugs over here. They just never answer questions. Now, to break things up before we get into the David Eby and Peter Poilievre clips, let's look at this one here. So Trudeau drives by in his black SUV, and Canadian protesters, they're giving it to him. They're chasing him down. Go get him. Chase him right out of our country. He's got to be in that front one, the front one or two. Citizens arrest.
How do you guys sleep at night knowing that you're protecting, like you guys
Protecting
know?
everybody.
Yeah,
I'm not out here protecting the Prime Minister. We're
No,
out here
but-
protecting people from you from other people, from people acting.
Yeah, but there must come a time where your morals got to override your job. You got to just do my job, you know?
This is my job.
You got
Because
yeah,
citizens-
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But don't your morals override what you're making you do?
Look at this flag! That's absolutely savage! Chasing Trudeau down the street with this thing. These Canadians. Next up, we got this loser here, David Eby. He announced $200 million in after-school care program. But basically, the majority, or at least more than half of this video, he's just asked question over and over and over. Basically, how are you reacting to Canadians not liking your policies? How are you reacting to things being so bad in Canada?
Yeah, you're clearly choosing your language specifically when speaking about your political opponent. So do you believe that Conservatives are now your chief opponent in this next election? And there's an Abacus poll out today that shows that more than half of British Columbians don't believe the economy is performing particularly well. More than 66% of people believe that they are struggling due to cost of living. These are things that happened under your watch as Premier. And are you concerned that things are slipping here, that you haven't been able to rein in these core issues that are impacting British Columbians?
Yeah, there's no question British Columbians are challenged out there. We've got high interest rates, we've got rising global costs impacting how they feel about their finances at home. This is a serious issue. Now, if you look at the headline numbers on our economy, we're leading Canada. Fastest GDP growth post-2017, post-pandemic. Lowest unemployment in Canada, creating tens of thousands of jobs. And those headline numbers only take you so far when people are struggling with daily costs. That's why we're doing things.
Leading a country that's doing really bad, that's like one of the worst, if not the worst in the G7, it's not really something that much to brag about.
Things like ensuring that ICBC is stable, providing 0% rate increases. We'll be going into the 6th year of 0% basic rate increases for ICBC, the fourth rebate after stabilizing that Crown insurer. And it's important to note the Conservatives opposed the ICBC rebate. And in fact, John Rustad has said he wants to relight the dumpster fire at ICBC by allowing people to sue again, undoing all of that work to stabilize the Crown Corporation. The Conservatives are a real threat. They are going to cost British Columbians in very tangible ways, cancelling school projects, cancelling ICBC rebates, cancelling rebates through BC Hydro. And it's up to me and up to my colleagues to make sure the British Columbians understand the cost of Conservative government in British Columbia.
Wait, so there's BC Hydro rebates? Where are these rebates? I've never received a BC Hydro rebate in my life. All they do is they add a $52 carbon tax fee, jacking up my heating bill to $200-something bucks every month. So what's interesting is he keeps saying the Conservatives are dangerous. John Rustad is dangerous as the Conservative leader in BC. They asked him multiple questions throughout that press conference there about Pierre Poilievre, and then he always just turns it back to the local John Rustad, the Conservative leader. Now, Pierre Poilievre, he was in Vancouver. He had a few words about EB. Now, to set this clip up, it's important to note here what it says in the description. In Vancouver, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre announces that his party plans to introduce a bill to ban the use of hard candy in hospitals. The ban would not apply to candy prescribed by medical professionals such as doctors and nurses.
Do you have any concerns that the province may push back regarding this being viewed as a curb on their jurisdiction in hospital settings, and how do you plan to react to that if there is pushback from the provinces? Thank you.
They might. The NDP and Trudeau are equally radical on these questions, but I'd leave it up to British Columbians. Do British Columbians believe that someone should be allowed to smoke crack, meth, and bring machetes into hospitals right next to patients who are trying to recover from cancer or a heart attack?
It's checkmate. Just the way he worded it there too, with the machetes. It's like the fact that it's okay for someone to go in there and do their stuff and be wielding one of these things, going into a hospital next to nurses and, as he said, people recovering from cancer treatment. Obviously, there's a problem with this, the system and the people running our system, the stupid policies put in place. And if you listen to David Eby throughout his long interview there, his long press conference, he really believes that that was the right choice to do. It's the right plan, even though he had to reverse it. He's just an idiot.
Would a Poilievre government cancel the effective raise in capital gains tax?
There isn't one right now. So we're going to see what Justin Trudeau again has promised something. Looks like he's backing down. He's taken the promise out of his budget, and with only a month to go, still no legislation. So what we know is that whenever Justin Trudeau raises taxes, it's waitresses, barbers, shop floor, manufacturing workers who pay the price. Remember, he said that he wouldn't raise taxes on the middle class. 80% of middle class Canadians are paying higher income tax than when Trudeau was first elected. He said his carbon tax would never go up more than 11 cents a litre. And now it's up to 17 cents, headed to 61 cents a litre. He said his deficits would never be bigger than $10 billion and they'd be gone in 3 years. Well, here we are, $600 billion and an inflation crisis later. That promise is in smithereens on the floor as well. I always find it interesting when the media comes to me and says, Justin Trudeau has promised a utopia. Are you going to remove his utopia if you get elected? Well, let's see this utopia first. So far, it has, the word utopia, ironically, in ancient Greek means no place. And no place has Justin Trudeau followed through on any of his promises.
That capital gains increase happens at the end of June. So I've noticed there's a whole bunch of houses, even just where I live. One right across the street just pop up for sale, like literally just in the past couple of weeks. Like I just see them everywhere now. People are dumping houses. Next up, jumping back over to David Eby. He likes to just keep saying the Conservatives are dangerous. The next question comes from a caller who's been paying very close attention. I don't think Eby was expecting this.
I do. It relates in part to that Abacus poll that shows your party with a but a 6% lead over the BC Conservatives. Is the third poll in a row now showing your party and theirs in a relatively close race. And I noticed about 3 or 4 times today you were asked about Pierre Poilievre and pivoted to criticisms of John Rustad. I'm just wondering, you've described the Conservatives as a real threat to British Columbians. I'm wondering if you also see them as a real threat to your party in the upcoming election in light of what we've seen in these polls and your responses consistently conflating the federal and provincial Conservatives.
Look at this guy's face even before he starts speaking. There's so much furrowing of the brow. The asymmetry of his mouth, of his head was tilted there the whole time. This guy is just, he is not wanting to be there.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to understand the position of the BC Conservatives and their leader, John Rustad, and to understand the costs of that government. I've been clear from the beginning that the Conservative Party in BC is a real threat and that they should not be taken lightly. And I continue to believe that. And there are going to be a whole bunch of polls between now and the election. Regardless, our focus is going to be the same. It's going to be doing the work for British Columbians, standing with them on the challenges they face today on childcare, last week on ICBC rates, making sure we're supporting them with the cost of daily life, on how
making sure that you get all that wacky stuff into the hospitals just to make things super dangerous for everyone who works there. It's not bad enough they've already driven out half the nurses because of that forced experimental situation. Now you got guys who can walk in there with machete, no problem. You can't arrest them because that's not against the law. This country's run by idiots. Now jumping over to my group, let's see what we got here today. Mr. Speaker. Star Trek. It's arson season again. Oh, so there is a huge fire or some sort of pretty big fire in Fort McMurray in Alberta. There's people up there in that area saying probably someone started that one. The Olympic bobsled team has named their sled Justin because nothing has taken a country downhill faster than that guy. How is a Canadian election known to have Chinese interference allowed to be legitimate or legal? Good question. The original gender-neutral bathroom. Have a great summer. We've all been there. You see an O. Henry just pop up and breach the water, and you're like, I'm out of here. 16 habits that will make you poor. Smoking, alcoholism, overpriced coffee. With the money we sent to Ukraine, we could have bought 50 fully crewed CL-415 water bombers, and the money left over could have bought 250 more. Yeah, like... we have problems here. It's time to stop sending all our money to another country. We need to get that back. Do you think we can pull off one more election? Oh, get out of here with that. Justin Trudeau realizing he forgot to get eggs at the grocery store. Yeah, no kidding. Guy wastes so much money, burns carbon, doesn't care. What's the magic word to get what you want? I'm offended. Is too close to home here, these ones. Someone just gave me half a peace sign. Weird. That's where we're gonna wrap up this episode. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought about that reporter just dishing it to Trudeau straight. I think if that happens at every single one of these press conferences, maybe something changes. He'll probably just stop going to them, really. He's not gonna answer those questions over and over. He's too much of a narcissist. When he's in control and he can just say, oh, I'm not going to do it, I bet he would stop going to those, but I love to see it. Problem is, most of these reporters are woke and corrupt, so hats off to that one, and hats off to Pierre just dishing it straight with the whole BC candy situation. So thanks for watching the end of the video here. Be sure to subscribe, turn on the bell, ring the bell. It's good luck. It brings you good luck. If you want to check out something a little bit different on my hiking channel, I uploaded a video going up Athabasca Glacier on the upper glacier, not the lower one. It's linked up here if you want to check that out. More Trudeau madness linked up over there. We'll keep fighting for freedom. I'll see you guys in the next one.